Good morning, Corey from Rockpile. How you going? Old chainsaw from the tip, present from my wife. Can we get it working? So we've got a Solo 660 VA. Now there may be a little bit of controversy in the Solo chainsaw people. I don't know if it's actually a 660 because I thought the 660 had an angled spark plug going into the head. Maybe you can clarify that for me. But as far as we're going to go Solo 660 VA, made in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. This is approximately 81cc, I think, if it's a 660, made in Germany. It's quite heavy. Like, it's a solid saw. No brake, as you can see. That's just a guard. I haven't touched it. Amanda brought it home. We're going to do a video on it. It's been here for a while now, a month maybe. So today's the day. What are we going to find in here? So I'm going to try and do this in real time and just talk to you about how my weird brain works when I encounter a situation like this. So I've got a few various little tools here. It looks to me like it's mainly flathead screws and a couple of bolts. I've got a socket and a couple of screwdrivers. I've got some degreaser and a few rags, and I've mixed up just a little bit of fuel, a little bit heavier on the oil than I'd normally go, just in case we get it running. So let's start the stopwatch. Alright, leave a comment of how long do you think it's going to take to get this running. So we'll started. I'm going to put it in a beanie because it gets a bit dirty around here, that my mum made for me. Thanks, Mum. Alright, so we're 10 seconds in already. Okay, first thing we need to do, well, let's see if it turns over for a start. Okay. Feels pretty good. Feels like it's got a good bit of compression. Okay, I'm happy with that. I might just get a rag and just give it a quick wipe down, just to get the majority of the gunk. Oh, there's a lot of gunk on this side, isn't there? That might be a degreaser job. We might do that in a bit. Alright, let's check out the air filter. So we undo the little cover, just a cover. Oh, she's a bit dirty. Right, air filter has definitely seen better days, so that's going to need a good clean. That will. But the underside of it is, I'm quite happy with that. There's no signs of too much contamination or, dust or grime or anything. No cobwebs. So that's good. We'll put that over there. Okay. So as you can see here, I'll just bring you in for a close-up. So it looks very clean in there. It does. Looks nice and clean. That's actually the choke mechanism you can see there. So this is all, there's no dust or anything on here, so I'm bloody stoked with that. So I'm pretty happy with the air intake system. Now two-strokes need basically air and fuel, and you're running, and a spark. Of course they need a spark. Let's check the spark. So, spark plug, alright. Could have done with a spark plug tool. We'll go into my secret chest of drawers here. Okay, that'll do. Get this. Okay, so take the plug out. Have a look at the plug. It looks okay. Not that you can probably tell. Doesn't look too bad. So, everything's moving up and down as it should, so that's good. Alright, let's plug this back in there. Now there's probably an on switch here somewhere. Oh, geez, I tell you, the switch feels like bloody good quality. Like an actual switch, you know, you can feel it. Okay, so let's ooh. Got a little bit to go. So, okay, we've got a spark. So hopefully we can freeze frame that and we can find a picture of a spark in there. Okay, so we've got spark. Air system looks good. We've got spark and it pulls over quite nicely. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go straight in with some fuel and we're going to give it a rip. So let's put this spark plug, actually let's just get a little bit of fuel. Now how am I going to tip that in there nicely? Alright, so we've got a bit of fuel here. Now I'm going to tip it down the spark plug hole, hopefully. Well, that actually went everywhere but in the hole. Alright, we got a bit in there. Now we'll put the lid back on this, just don't want to spill that. Okay. We'll do it up a little bit. Put that back on. Now I'm going to leave the air filter off because just am. So that's a little bit of an issue. The little trigger safety just jammed on. Alright, let's just see if it starts. No. Wood fired. Just going to stop the stopwatch and screenshot it at that. I won't tell you what that is yet, but we'll keep playing the stopwatch. Okay, so it fired. That's awesome. Next thing we're going to do then is just try and fix this bloody this loose trigger here. So we kind of need the throttle function to be functioning correctly. So I've just got a little bit of degreaser. We'll get that in there. Yeah, actually that's pretty good. Okay, so we'll go in, we'll just give this a little degrees. And a little wipe down. Okay, tell you what, I'm pretty excited. Okay, so presume that one of these is fuel, probably this one. Oh, it's tight, isn't it? Oh, this might be bar oil because it's on the bar side. Huh. Bloody full of oil already. Okay. Geez, how many of you guys have a chainsaw that doesn't leak oil when you put it on the bench? That's pretty good. So this must be the fuel side. No doubt the fuel side will probably leak. It looks bone dry, but it looks very clean in there. Nice fuel filter on the end, doesn't look that... Looks good. So, let's chuck this in. I'll keep a little bit just in case I need to put it back down the spark plug hole. So, okay. That's good. If this fires up, if this runs, this might be my new favourite saw. You know, just like a bit of the old stuff. Alright, so that's on correctly. It's not... Oh, and it's leaking. It's leaking. Now we do have some O-rings in here, in my special map drawers that I've made, turned into a toolbox. Hey, if you want to see the video on that, there'll be a link so you can check that out. Okay, O-rings. Now we want something skinny that's going to fit on there. Okay, that's pretty good. But I might just try and get this one out. Actually, now I'm looking at it closer. It's not an actual O-ring. It just looks like a bit of like a thin edge of plastic that must seal on here when you do it up tight. So we are going to stretch an O-ring over there. You know what? I might have got it. Oh no. Alright. Not ideal. So, presume this one is the choke. Lovely. Give it a few pops. Woo. Okay. I'll just move the camera back and we'll try and give this a rip again. Okay. We'll go a bit more choke. We'll give it a pull. And again. Maybe some more choke. Now there is a high chance that the carburetor is like gummed up. So just going to put a bit more fuel down the spark plug and just see if that can start for a couple of seconds, and it may help bring some fuel into the carburetor before I get too carried away taking the carby apart, because that will be a long video. Alright, let's try again. So I think we've got a few carburetor issues. Either it's not getting the fuel through, there's a blockage somewhere, it's been sitting a while, the gaskets are kind of not, you know, not playing the game. Let's try that again. Alright. Oh, carburetor issue. Alright. So we'll get a flathead screwdriver, we'll undo this screw, Presumably this takes the cover off so we can see the carburetor. Okay, so you know what, it looks pretty clean in there. Maybe we're just not getting... Okay, I just found something that doesn't look like it's meant to be there. So this is the fuel tank breather, and it looks like there's a screw that's been put in the end of it. Right, now whether that's meant to be there or not, I don't know. So let's just see how that comes out, if it does. I don't think they would have done that, surely not. Okay, so I've got to admit that doesn't look like a factory screw. That's just been put in there. I think that fuel breather was meant to have some sort of little cap on it that may have got broken, and someone put this in it. And because the fuel couldn't suck through the tank because it didn't have a vent, it was like making a vacuum, it wasn't running right. Maybe. Let's just try that again. We'll go some choke on, switch on. Alright, let's go a bit more fuel in the cylinder. Oh, that's the last of it. It's alright. And we'll go throttle open a little bit, no choke. Maybe choke. Oh, I don't know. Choke off. Okay. So I'm going to go with, we've got a fuel problem with the carburetor. Because there's no like little primer bulb on it. So I think what we need to do is we need to take this top handle off, which may be interesting because it's got the throttle linkage there. So there's no fuel hose going to the carburetor. How interesting is that? Okay. Now we're getting technical now. There's a washer cord in there. One washer. I think that's meant to have bigger washers. Okay, that popped that off. And the carby came with it. Yep, alright. And the switch. Everything. Take that off. We'll take that off. Aha! Let me just get this out of the way. Somehow. Without making it too messy. Okay. So we got the carby off. And as you can see, there's no fuel lines going to the carby. That's a problem. I'll bring you in for a close-up because what I'm going to show you is where the fuel line is coming out of the tank. Okay, so just here, where my screwdriver is, that looks like the fuel outlet from the tank, and there's no hose on it. And the hole is a bit gummed up in there. So I might just grab some fuel line. Right, so I found another issue. I can hardly see it, and I'm actually looking at it, right? So I don't know what chance I've got to show you guys of actually seeing it. But right down in here, right, as part of the crankcase, there's a vent. Because I was just looking at this little adapter here, right, and I was looking at the back of the carburetor, and I thought there's no way that the pressure gets in to work the little diaphragm, you know, like the pulse from the compression and the, what's the word? When the engine is running, it makes like a bit of crankcase pressure, and that pressure is used to help pump the diaphragm in the carburetor to bring the fuel through. And modern chainsaws actually have it built into the manifold here, and there's a little hole in the back of the carburetor, and it pumps the air through that way to create the on the diaphragm. But this one hasn't actually got that, and it's actually in the crankcase, and it's right back in there. And just looking at how this saw has been made, it looks like the entire thing has to come apart to reach it. So I'm sure that that's the vent. I reckon that what that goes on that way, right? So I'm confident that this one's a fuel inlet on the top, and this one might be the pulse bit to work the pump. So I'm not going to take that apart yet, but I need to totally take this thing apart to reach that thing. And of course, that's going to take some time, isn't it? Well, let's get into it. So, first things first, we will... Okay, so we're going to go with the timer. We're going to call it, right? I'm going to make a decision. We're going to end the timer because this is actually like some pretty major surgery, and this could take me a while because I don't have the right size fuel line for it. And if I'm going to totally strip it apart just to reach that one thing, I'm probably going to give it a pretty good clean. So, we did get it fired. We got it running, didn't we? Hey? So we got it running, and that time was, hopefully, if you guessed, around that, 10 minutes, 41 seconds, give or take. You were pretty close. Okay, so I've made an adult decision, and basically I'm going to strip the whole lot down. That's to put all my nuts and bolts in. Right. So we'll just do a time lapse. I'm going to put some music on. I'm just going to totally take this thing apart and see where we end up, because I need to get down to that bit. I'll show you when I get it apart, because it actually looks like it may be broken. If you're familiar with these saws, and you can leave me a comment about how that all works, you know, like, that'd be great. I'm always up for a bit of a chat about stuff. So, tunes, what should we listen to? Alright, so let's pick some music to listen to here. And away we go.
On a cold night tonight. On a cold night tonight.
I've discovered that every screw on it was a flathead screwdriver. Whoever invented the flathead screwdriver, good on you at the time, but honestly, you should have rethunk that idea. And you may have noticed, if you've got a keen eye, that I broke one of the gaskets, which just happens to be the carburetor, the gasket between here and the carburetor. So that was a bit of a downer. But in true Rockpile fashion, we have numerous gaskets of all sorts of shapes and sizes for this sort of thing. So it's probably just a matter of finding one, probably like that one. That goes on the back of that. And wouldn't you know it? Look at that. It is a perfect fit. So, problem solved. Just found a new breather, so I'll probably put this breather on there as well. Okay, so you remember how this came apart? Hopefully someone does. So we're probably going to start with the obvious. We'll get this big bit back on here. That was a trap for young players, wasn't it? Eh? Bloody caught me out, didn't it? Supposed to put the fuel tank in before to put that cover on. God, I think I would have remembered that. But I didn't. But we're back. We're back. Instead I've got some fuel line. So let's just keep plodding away with some bits and pieces and kind of see where this ends up. Let's remove this bit one more time and put this thing in. Okay, let's be honest here. That was a long day. So, there's a few things that it needs, and there's a few things that I forgot to do. So, it needs a new chain. The bar is pretty average. I left out a crucial part of the rubber isolator bit thing. It's hard to explain, but basically it goes in a real bad spot, then I've got to take it all apart again. Right? I also left out a bolt here on the air filter that the air filter cap screws to. Well, I don't know where that bolt come from. Alright, let's do a recap. Solo 660 VA. VA stands for vibration something, anti-vibration. Oh, AV, yeah, anti-vibe because of the rubber isolators and the handles, blah, blah, blah. Old saw made in the late 70s. Amanda found it at the tip. Gave it to me as a present. What a wife. What a wife. So, we found some problems with it as we were taking it apart. Main problems being the fuel lines. One fuel line a pressure line that come from the crankcase to the carburetor to activate the little diaphragm in the carby, and it had no fuel line going from the fuel tank to the carburetor. Huh, how does an engine run without a fuel line? Right, so we put some fuel lines in it. I must have cleaned something because it's leaking oil. Alright. So put some fuel lines in it. There's a few things I got left to do parts I left out as I was putting it back together. So I do need to take it apart again and put these other little bits back in. But apart from that, we're ready to crank this puppy. Alright. So I think she's going to go straight away. Alright. Switch on. Nearly. Come on. Okay, we might just need a bit more fuel. Switch on. Ha! It's alive! Bloody Rockpile Chainsaw Massacre, look out! So, admittedly, it probably needs a bit of a tune. And that gasket that I showed you in the carburetor, one that was all swollen and blistered, is probably not helping the fuel delivery to the carby. And the fact that there's only like 2 tablespoons of fuel in it. But how's that shit? So there's oil coming out everywhere from the chain lubrication pump. So I've just turned it right down. Hopefully that limits it. There you go, folks. From tip to frickin' awesome. Frickin' awesome. you like what you see, subscribe, like, share. Tell everyone about the Solo 660 rebuild from the tip. What a treasure. Later. See you on the next one. Got a new bar, new chain. Let's give it a rip. So probably not the best bit of wood to test it on, but it's working.